friend, Maryjane.
Hi guys, I'm the owner of Beauty and the Barber, and we're just sitting here chit-chatting. You know, I have to tell you guys how I met her. We were on the beach in Cabo, and she comes up to me in her cute little bathing suit, and we were chatting about being from California. I just think she's amazing.
Oh, thank you, Mary. I love you. I'm so grateful that we've been friends for now 2 years. It feels like maybe a year, but life goes by quickly. But I'm very
I told her about Snapchat, and I was like, you know, we could be pen pals. You know, it was like one of those nights I had a beer, I was like having fun, you know, and I just thought, wow, what an amazing woman. We have just connected in so many different ways, and it's just incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is my dear friend Mary, and she's a wonderful creative thinker. She's a business owner. She's someone who inspires me a lot, and I really am excited to interview her on my podcast. And she's going to tell us a little bit about Beauty and the Barber as well as herself. And I'm just grateful that we met and how serendipitous that was, because I just remembered, like, I was just walking along the beach and it was just wonderful. And all of a sudden I saw this like intriguing woman, and you had this beautiful blonde hair, and I was like, you had this cool energy. And,
Oh,
and
we
I was
had
like,
fun.
I heard you talking, and I heard you say I'm in California to the person you were talking to, and I was
Yeah.
like, yes,
We were renting jet skis.
we were renting jet skis, and then now all of a sudden we're friends. You're
Yeah.
here. So I love how
Oh my
life goes.
gosh.
And we have such good energy together. We have so much
Yes.
fun. We talk all the time.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you need a Snapchat pal, it's the best way to do a pen pal.
So anyways, so my podcast is Tell Me Something New, and it's all about, I'm a mental health care doctor. I'm very passionate about promoting just the ability to come up with new ideas, think new thoughts, not be afraid to be creative with your mind. And I love talking to people, so why not talk to multiple people and talk about their new ideas? And so Mary actually has created something very unique here, and she's super successful and inspires people on the daily and does what she loves to do, which is hair. But it's so much more than hair, and it's so much bigger than hair. And so Mary, can you tell me what your new idea was and how it's evolved since creating Beauty with Barber?
So I used to teach at the Barber and Beauty School, and I loved the men and women together. You know, most salons are different, and you know, it's a whole bunch of hairdressers, and you kind of have a sign-up sheet for walk-ins and things like that. And for here, everybody's a specialist. They've been highly trained. They all specialize in one thing that they're really good at. We all love color, we all love hair, but there's a lot of us that do weddings and amazing blowouts. And if you want a blonde specialist, or, you know, I grew this business. My son came to me and told me he wanted to be a barber. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I love this. I am gonna open a salon that's Beauty and the Barber. So we have men and women together, and we have tattooing. So we have the tattooing in the back and the barbering. So we've got kind of that vibe there. And then we moved the whole spot front, and I'll give you guys a full tutorial. It is incredible. It is so fun to watch. I love teaching. I love making, you know, an example in other people's lives to help them grow and love what they do. So, yes, I love it. You know, when we walk around, I'll introduce you to some of the stylists and what they do. We have new stylists, we have old stylists, we have a nail roll that's incredible. I wish I could turn my camera right now and show you, because we're sitting in the shop right now. It's kind of our back view. We have AG Village here, which is super cool. Old time love here, you know? So, yeah.
I love it. So what I'm hearing is that this is really a new way to kind of conceptualize a beauty space. And
Yeah.
It's more than a beauty space. I mean, you employ people here, you help people, promote themselves through their own business. You empower women to have their own, entrepreneurial spirit, which is amazing. And it wasn't always that way. I mean, starting from where you were to where you are now, what do you think it took to kind of create this? Because this is very unique. You know, it's very unique.
I would say how I could put barbering and beauty together, because I wanted to build a business that my son would be very successful in. And it's really hard. Anybody that's been in barbering, it's really hard to start up and have clientele and be busy and have walk-ins, and having that atmosphere. You know, men and women work really well together. Believe it or not, you know, most of the time the old school way was barbers are here, women are here, you go to either a barber shop or a woman's shop. But I love the mingling, you know. I love the men and women vibe. You know, we feel safe when he's here late with us. If we need something fixed, they're always there. If we have a fade walk in that's high and tight in designs, that's our barber. So anybody that walks in kind of gets the right person the right way. And I love that. We work as a team, we grow, we share each other's work. You know, most salons don't do that. You know, it's Instagram and we're all liking each other's stuff. You know, most hairdressers don't like each other's hairdresser stuff because, you know, it's competition. They do the same thing.
Yeah.
But in here, it's a family vibe. We run something completely different. And it is the best feeling. It is so beautiful to watch everybody grow. My tattoo artist, she's a female, and it was really hard, you know, to transition her into where she's at now. And I got a tattoo from her 10 years ago, and I literally chased her around. I'm like, I want the best in my salon in every position that I have here, which is the tattooing, you know, the barbering and all the hair aspects, lashes, nails, all of it. I find that hidden talent and I bring them here. So we all share clients, all that, but just watching my tattoo artists in general growing from being a beautiful artist that can draw and have her passion doing tattooing, but having that uplifted and having people back you up and show you you can be the best you is incredible. So now I watch all of them do it, and it's such the most amazing feeling I've ever felt. It's, you know, watching your kids in each one of their booths just grow and love what they do. You know, best job I've ever had.
I'm so proud of you.
You know how we rock.
You rock. You rock. You're like, you inspire me so much. You're such a strong and independent woman, and you're always encouraging me to do the same. And yeah, and this wasn't always what you did. I remember how you said in the past you were in a different industry. You were like, you were in my industry.
Yeah, my dad's a doctor, you know, went through the medical field. Everybody's sick and, you know, dying, needs medication and their insurances and all this other stuff that is so scary. And I came into this world and with hair and beauty, and I can give now people better than medicine.
Yeah.
When you wake up in the morning, you're like, oh, let me fix myself, you know, let me make myself proper. I want to feel good to present myself or go somewhere, you know, that feeling of feeling good. When you get ready, your hair is done, you're on fire, you're like, I'm going to take the world on. But if your hair's up, no makeup on, and, you know, you're not feeling the greatest, it's a different feeling. Look at that hair, I did it.
Yeah, no, it's really
Beauty
so
of the barber.
Beauty of the barber. It's so true because, and that's something that you said over and over again that's really stuck with me is you were just showing up and people were, you know, in the healthcare industry, people are sick, they're not feeling good.
Yeah.
It's a very negative energy, and you're like, I'm tired of this.
Yeah.
I'm tired of this. I want to do something different. You're like, I want to empower people through helping them feel good, look good, energize them. It's so true. And every time Mary touches my hair and does my hair, like I really feel a shift. I feel beautiful. I feel more put together. I just feel more confident. And you do that every single day with people, and it doesn't seem like it's ever getting. It's not tiring you. Like, or how I put this, you never get tired of it because you love it. You love it. And you found passion in that.
I'm so passionate.
Yeah.
Making women beautiful is better than the money I get.
Yeah.
It's so incredible, just the gift. When I walk into my shop, I'm the happiest girl ever. I look at everybody thriving and loving what they do and being so happy. I've been in jobs that aren't that way, you know, and it's just such a family and unite. It's everybody's beautiful and positive. It's just such a great thing. Yeah.
I think it's a great thing. And I think for me, it's given me a little bit of perspective too, in the sense that helping people heal, there's so many different ways to help people heal, whether it's their mental health or their physical health or their spiritual health or whatever. Like there's so many different ways to help people feel good and do that internal work. And I think that there's an argument to be made that doing it through what you do is absolutely, I mean, you know it because you live and breathe it, but you help people all the time who come in the door and they leave feeling revitalized, and you're sort of like their, you know, you're sort of like their, I don't know, you create a safe space for them, you create a beautiful experience for them, and you help them actualize themselves. Honestly, I think, which is beautiful.
Thank you. I just love it too. It's a gift, you know, and I wish everybody that success and love in their job, and I hope they love what they do. And if you've ever had problems with your hair and don't feel good about yourself, you need to come see us because we have somebody here that will help you.
And I'm curious, So your main thing is like you're really good with hair. Like you're the Edward Scissorhands. You're the Edward Scissorhands. Like
Yeah.
you can sketch going.
Oh yeah.
You did that.
Hair will be flying.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Best thing you ever did.
So funny. I know.
Yeah.
Crazy me.
But so you have now the shop. It's not just hair. It's nails. It's tattoos. It's barber. It's so many different
Yes.
things. So what was it like to take your love for beauty and self-expression through beauty and wellness through beauty and self-presentation and turning that even bigger? And now you're leading and managing a shop where you're overseeing many people, right? You're overseeing so many people, and it's maybe like you don't have a background necessarily as a tattoo artist, or maybe you don't have XYZ experience, but yet you're managing it all. Was it a hard leap to make, or did it feel very natural because you already had all these different skills through hair?
I really believe in the Lord has the answer for that for me.
Yeah.
He puts people in my life, and I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for everybody that's been in my life that's changed me as well.
Yeah.
And I'm a firm believer that everybody's here for a reason right now, and I've changed so many lives and helped so many people grow, and it is the most beautiful reward, to just watch them succeed and watch them be happy. And I think that was the most powerful thing for me, was wanting to help other women, empower them, perfect example, actually, to go back to my tattoo artist again. She's a female that, it's really hard in the tattoo industry. There's a lot of men and that have worked in shops for a lot of years, and there's a lot of interns, and you got to work under people to work your way up. And she was so strong and beautiful to stand up and do that, and show other women that they can do that too. And she's such a good artist. It's the story is beautiful. I'll link everybody's information down at the bottom too if you guys have any questions or want to even see her work. But her story is beautiful as well. And every woman here, a lot of them went to other salons, and they had problems in other salons because there was a lot of drama and chaos. And there was a sign-up sheet that was like 8 people long where they didn't get a walk-in for 2 weeks. And here, I don't want that. I want somebody to always have something. No matter, anybody that walks in is going to be fit with a perfect person. And that way it makes it, everybody's happy no matter what. And with my tattoo artist and my lash artist that just started, she just graduated school. I'm so excited. And her nails, she's just incredible. The new talent, it's hidden. It's just gems. So pretty.
You're very good at finding the talent.
Yes.
And unleashing it and also amplifying it.
Yes, I know what I want.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I want the perfect person in every station so that I know they're going to do the best.
Yeah.
And there's no competition.
Yeah.
They love each other. You should see them, they're high-fiving, they're having lunch together. Like, it is not normal. Like, they are so excited, and they aren't in competition. One does nails, one does lashes, one does hair, one does facials, one does tattooing. The barber in the back, he's doing so good too. The barber and female vibe, oh, it's so good. It's so good. We have a little mingle spot, they can get a drink, or, so men and women can mingle outside of the bar.
That's so cool. I love what you've created, and part of me, this is just an open question, but like what part of you, like what part of who you are, your personality, your tendency, I don't know, what allows you to do this so easily, because it's so natural for you. It's so natural for you. And do you feel like it's just how outgoing you are, or
the power to help others?
The power to help others.
It actually started with one girl needing help.
Okay.
And then another one needed help, and then another one, and it just kind of lined up to where each person fit perfectly in this little puzzle piece that I built. And even the ones that have been here and grown, even outside of the shop, or moved or got married or wherever, they are taking a piece of us that we've taught them, and they've learned, and they're growing, and we love that. We stay in contact with them, we congratulate them, we watch them grow as well, and we want the best for everybody.
Yeah, I love that. And something you said, Mary, was your faith in God is really important to you.
Yes.
And I know that's really important to you, and I'd love if you can share, if you feel called. What does that mean in your life, and how does that guide you?
So for me, I feel anybody that comes in, their energy, their spirit, you never know what happens behind closed doors or who somebody is and what day they've gone through. And I feel like he guides me and puts people in my chair that he knows I can help. And, you know, it is a powerful thing to say, but it's just the love and the, you know, the guidance and sometimes the power of touch that somebody needs, you know, and to make them feel so good is a power. They can walk better, they can talk better, they're better at their job, they feel good, they're just the sass.
Yeah.
You know, I want to give every woman and every person, not just women, men too, that feeling that you can conquer anything that you want.
Absolutely. I'm so proud. I'm so proud of you, Mary. I've been thinking a little bit as well about my kind of new thought for today. I was thinking about it before I came over and visit, and we've had such a good day. She did my hair, we had lunch, we had so much fun, we just enjoyed it and chatted, and it's been great. Someone came by and sold us some big buckets of cherries, and delicious in-season cherries. It's amazing here.
Good stuff.
Yeah,
good stuff.
So it's just been a magical day, and on my way over here, I was thinking about a new idea. It kind of came across my mind last night. I was thinking about it. So what I think is, it's not so much what we believe, but it's how we believe things that matters. And I was thinking a little bit about this. So when it comes to thinking, right, this whole podcast is about thinking new ideas, being curious about our minds, being curious about how people go about learning about themselves and how they think, because it's super, super important, and I think it has a huge impact on how we feel, how we act. And what I was realizing is that a thought is just a thought, and if, say, for example, if a thought never led to an emotion or an action in the world, apart from you, no one would ever know it existed, right? If it never got out of your head. Say you had an idea in your head, but you never said anything, or you never acted on it in any way. It would just be a thought. It wouldn't have any power, right?
Right.
But oftentimes, we get overwhelmed by our thoughts. A lot of times, people can get very overwhelmed by thoughts. Thoughts can be very scary, or they can be very positive and very powerful. But only if it gets out. Only if it generates an emotion in you, which then generates an action in the world, is when a thought has real power. And so thoughts are really only as powerful as they create to be, in my opinion. And I was just sort of thinking that, again, it's not so much the thought that we have, it's how we act on our thoughts and our relationships with our thoughts that matters the most. And how we believe in stuff, you know. And I was kind of thinking, like, well, what does that mean? What does it mean, like, how we believe in stuff? Because, as a mental health care doctor, I'm always talking to people therapeutically about their relationships with their minds. And this is what I do all the time. I talk to people, I figure what they're saying. But I just started thinking, were you going to say something?
No, I was wondering. Actually, I was curious by you saying that, where your mind goes with me.
Ooh, where my mind goes with you?
Being a psychologist, I'm very hard to read. I'm very all over the place. Yeah. You're
spot on with people. You're spot on with calling things, knowing what's going to happen. You are very intuitive.
Been there, done that.
Yeah. You are very, very intuitive.
We're each other's counselors right now.
Yeah, you're my counselor in a lot of ways, and I'm yours. But no, you know so much, and I think you accurately read people in these situations. And I love the perspective you bring to the world. You're welcome. I love the perspective you bring to the world. You always give me a different perspective to consider. And we're very different people. We are super different people, but we meld really well.
I know, it is so wild. I actually learned a lot about my ADHD and stuff, just a learning, experience with her. Her brain is so beautiful and thinks so differently, and I've never had a friend or connected with somebody in that realm, and it's such a beautiful thing for us to even be here now, 2 years later, sharing our story and kind of connecting that way, and it's just so beautiful. You shine bright, girl.
Thank you, my love. And I appreciate you asking that question. I think just kind of to finish off, I was just reflecting today on how do we relate to our thoughts, and when a thought, say if someone says something, for example, this podcast is new, and different people have different opinions about what's been said on it, and I really invite that, and I don't think anyone has to agree with or disagree with anything in particular that was said on this podcast. But say you have a new thought that comes up, and you're like, well, I agree with that thought, or I don't agree with that thought. I just am curious, like, how do we attach to thoughts or detach to thoughts? Which thoughts do we run toward or hide from, right? Do we make space for new ideas, or do we crowd them out with other ideas? Like, what is that relationship of how do we believe? What is that? Because I think that's so much more important than what we believe, right? If you could have a thought in your head, like, I'm powerful, or, I'm ugly, or whatever. It could be any thought. But unless you attach to that spot, give it strength, work with it, or choose to avoid it or whatever, it's never going to become an action or an emotion that's generated inside of you. And there's very few thoughts that that actually don't become some sort of a action in our world. And I was trying to think earlier today, I was like, are there really any neutral thoughts, like thoughts that don't really lead to anything? And I was trying to think, I was like, well, the sky's blue, or the tree, I was driving by a tree, and I was like, I looked at the tree, and I was like, yeah, that's a pretty neutral thought, and hey, there's a tree. But what I realized is that tree reminded me of my grandparents' place, and all of a sudden I miss them because they passed.
Like smells and things that remind you.
Just the way that the tree looked, and it reminded me of my grandparents, and they're both passed. And then I realized I need to spend more time with my family. And that's so a tree, even a tree like a symbolic tree that doesn't seem to have much meaning neutrally. It's constantly stimulating our brain, and unless
pay attention to that.
You have, that's what I was thinking. You have to
the
pay
women
attention to
intuition,
it.
yeah.
You have to pay attention to it because our mind is constantly working subconsciously, constantly turning out concepts, connections, ideas. And unless you're paying attention to it, you won't see it because life is busy and we have, I don't even know how many thoughts we have a day. Some people will say it's 8,000, some people will say it's 50,000.
Your ADHD is a little different.
A million a day. I actually don't know how many thoughts we have a day, but if you really think about it, we are thinking constantly. Our brains are factory for new ideas, right? Or maybe even old ideas, and oftentimes it's recycled old ideas, right? And so I just was really thinking about that is like, how do we go about believing things? What are we attaching to? What are we avoiding? What are we, how conscious are we of our thoughts?
That's actually a great thing to bring up.
Yeah.
Me and her were talking about avoidance. I'm a big avoidant, and she's not. And it's so crazy how some people in your life trigger you to be, and some people trigger you to be clingy, or just out of your realm, what other people bring into your life. And I've been so observant to that lately.
Yeah. Well, it ebbs and flows, but that was sort of my new thought for the day. I've been kind of reflecting on, how do I go about believing ideas that I have? How strongly am I attached to them? How not? And it's a really complicated thing. But anyways, that was my piece for the day. But Mary,
wow, where are you guys going with all that?
Yes, well, Mary, I love you. You're a wonderful woman. I'm very glad you would take time to be on my podcast. One,
of course,
and do my amazing hair.
Yes.
And I'll be excited to link your business so that people can check it out.
Awesome.
And maybe we'll take a little look around the shop. How about that?
I would love that. You guys gotta check this out. It is just the new thing. So let's do it.
Yay! Okay, awesome. Okay.
Hey guys, welcome back.
All right,
okay, we're gonna walk you through the shop. All right,
let's go.
So we do have our barber here, Jared. He's doing a little straight razor cut right now. And we have our other barber here. Say hello. Awesome. And then we also have tattooing here. If you want any information, she is incredible and a great female artist. Thanks, guys. So when we walk through here, we have Amy as one of our stylists here. Shampoo bowls over here. And we have lashes and facials right through here, which is super cute. Okay, let's take you through. Our stylist here. And we have our front desk. We just got those good yummy cherries she was talking about.
So delicious.
And we have our new nail girl. You guys gotta check her out. We'll put her link in the bio. She did my nails. She's really good. Awesome.
All right, that's the shop, guys. Thank you again, Mary. Thank you for being on my podcast.
Yes, it was so
good
fun.
to see you. I love you. You're such a heart, and I am always inspired by you, and I admire you, and it's just nice. I'll be able to look back on this pod. We'll have to do more podcasts in the future, but it'll be nice to look back and talk more about new ideas and see where Mary's at.
Love that.
All right, bye, y'all.
Bye, guys.